When Kendall Jenner launched her tequila brand 818 in 2021, I don't think anyone was surprised. And when Emma Chamberlain launched her coffee brand, Chamberlain Coffee, in 2020, after years of talking about her love for the stuff on her YouTube channel and her podcast, I don't think anyone was surprised then either. So when it comes from a marketing standpoint, when the two brands launched their collaboration earlier this week, it's just pure genius. Within the collaboration, Chamberlain Coffee, which I have sitting right in front of me here, launched a limited edition Pecan cold brew concentrate, which is intended to be mixed with 818 Reposado, which comes in a kit that you can find on Chamberlain Coffee's website, including this cute little martini glass and this branded cocktail shaker. When it comes to making an espresso martini with the Chamberlain Coffee, it unfortunately does require a little bit of advanced planning. If you want to stir it into your cocktail, mix it with 4 ounces of water and let it sit ideally overnight to allow for that concentrate to really take hold. If you want to enjoy it on its own, mix with 8 ounces, and again, let it sit for as long as possible before enjoying, but we're gonna give it a try right now. Lots of maple going on the nose here. You can get a little bit of the nuttiness underneath it. It's a sweet coffee. If sweet coffee's not your thing, you're not gonna really like this, but it does convey a lot of those fall flavors that I think are really, really, really nice in a rich coffee. So I'm really excited to see how it holds up, shaken up with some coffee liqueur and some Reposado tequila. Now we're gonna try some Reposado on its own. If you know anything about 818, you know it has a little bit of a reputation for being too sweet, but we're gonna see. Lots of vanilla on the nose here. It is a little sweet, so if sweet drinks aren't your thing, you might find this Reposado a little bit difficult to approach, and shaken into a cocktail, it's probably gonna taste pretty nice. Let's see. Luckily, when you order a kit, it does give you a recipe to follow, but if you forget it, it's pretty easy to remember. It's equal parts tequila reposado, coffee liqueur, we're opting for Mr. Black, and the cold brew concentrate. You're gonna do 1.5 ounces of each of those. Now the recipe also suggests shaking it up with 1/4 ounce of simple syrup or cinnamon syrup, depending on your persuasion. But I tend to like my espresso martinis a little bit more spirit forward, so I'm gonna opt to not include any additional sweeteners. Let's shake it up. All right, so first things first, pop the top off your shaker and fill it with ice. All we're gonna do is just add our ingredients. First up, we have the tequila. Next up, we have our coffee liqueur. And last up, we have our cold brew concentrate. And then give it a good shake. I only shook for about 15 seconds, so we don't have too much foam going on the top here. But again, shake for a little bit longer, get some more reward on the top. Let's see how it tastes. That is an espresso martini. The coffee, I think, does really well, tampered down with a little bit of that coffee liqueur. I think it really would have gotten out of control on the palate with too much sweetness if we had added that simple syrup or that cinnamon syrup, and I don't think that would have been super desirable, especially for somebody like me who enjoys their espresso martinis to be as straightforward as possible. No cream, no added sugars, no nothing. Because, again, the coffee was inspired by the flavors in the 818 Reposado, it does convey some of those pecan and maple notes that give the cocktail a really nice, rich, rounded edge to it. The coffee's warm, it's rich, and it feels good when it's mixed up with the coffee liqueur and the tequila. It just brings a nice little vegetal agave note that I really prefer in my espresso martinis. Vodka and I tend to not agree, so I do opt for my espresso martinis with tequila on a normal basis, but I've never had one with 818 before. This one gives you that desirable sweetness if you do like your drinks to be a little bit on the sweeter side, but again, without getting out of control because we opted to do no simple syrup. Cinnamon in here though, if you want a little bit of that spicy edge, I would recommend maybe just dusting some over the top, especially with the Espresso Martini's foamy head. If you can really get like a good 1/4 inch on there, a nice cinnamon coating on top would be really delightful. Cheers.